Dodoco's Bomb-tastic adventure. In the calm waters of Cider Lake, the fish of Mondstadt were enjoying quiet, happy lives. But then, a never-before-seen army of spiky fish appeared. They were clad in strange armor and carried a small, short sword. Ferocious and oppressive, they soon took over the homes of local fish. Ha! This belongs to the spiky fish kings now. To reclaim their homeland and eject the invaders, the fish of Mondstadt asked the strong and imaginative Dodoco and the cheerful and kind Spark Knight for help.
Jumpy? We can't use Jumpy Dumpty this time.
The powerful Jumpty Dumpty bomb would destroy the houses of the fish we're trying to reclaim, and the lake bed would utterly be wrecked. Another idea was needed. The clever Dodoco and the Spark Knight discussed the problem at length and came up with the super special, super safe, super reliable Jumpty Dumpty. A small and precise enough to blow up only the bad spiky fish, leaving the innocent fishies unharmed. But the name super special, super safe, super reliable Jumpty Dumpty was a little long, and the Spark Knight kept saying it wrong, so they called the new device Special Jumpty Dumpty instead.
Wait! Allow me to listen out!
It turned out that Dodoco's long ears weren't just for show. They were great for picking up sounds. Once thrown into the lake, Special Jumpty Dumpties would swim towards wherever the spiky fish were active, and Dodoco could hear it all. That allowed the Special Jumpty Dumpties to work their magic in exactly the right spot, defeating the spiky fish. But the enemies seemed prepared. There were so many of them. The Spark Knight and Dodoco rushed back and forth, not even stopping to eat. They were almost out of Special Jumpty Dumpties.
You think you two aren't enough to beat us, conquerors of the 5 seas?
But what were the 5 seas the spiky fish spoke of? Could they have overpowered the fish in the other places as well? Flummoxed, Dodoco and the Spark Knight returned to the Athenaeum to inquire with the Scribe Witch. Without needing to crack open a book, the witch chuckled softly. Perhaps these 5 seas simply refer to the north, east, southwest, and center of Cider Lake. It finally dawned on the Spark Knight and Dodoco they'd fallen upon a fishy story. Unfortunately, the slippery spike fishies had seized this opportunity to construct a sturdy barrier reef. They expertly hid amongst the aquatic plants, kicking off the devious game of hide-and-seek with Dodoco and the Spark Knight. Now these thorny fishies would be an even greater thorn in their sides. Dodoco and the Spark Knight thus called in for help. The Honorary Knight and the Helper in White. The ample experience between them, the two offered just the evidence they needed. Looking at the map, the Honorary Knight said, "Just with any adventure, you must first determine the direction in which to advance." Dodoco understood. By finding a way to control the direction of the blast, they could enhance the Special Jumpty Dumpty's power and reach the spiky fish further away. Beneath mouthfuls of dessert, the Helper in White said,
"And if you can make the explosions take all sorts of forms, they'll even be harder to evade."
The Spark Knight then had an idea. If they made the Special Jumpty Dumpty explode into the shapes of different desserts, they could lure the gluttonous spiky fish and wipe them all out in one blast. So Dodoco and Spark Knight upgraded the Special Jumpty Dumpty with a new ability. This new improved Special Jumpty Dumpty could explode in various shapes and could pass through the lake and plants and reach the enemy soldiers hiding in the trickiest locations. Even if they couldn't deal with unyielding stones, they could circumvent them, delivering an explosive surprise to the nasty fish behind it. Armed with these Special Jumpty Dumpties, Dodoco and Spark Knight no longer had to worry about being ambushed by the spiky fish. One after the other, the spiky fish were defeated. When the word of this finally reached the spiky fish kings, they swelled up angrily and stormed in to join the battle. In the Honorary Knight and Helper's White experience, bulbous blobs were always bad news. When they looked over to the opposing side and saw the hulking kings glimmering in gold, they wondered, how were there suddenly so many of them? No matter how they sliced it, this was all rather fishy. Between mouthfuls of dessert, the Helper in White said,
"There's nothing to be afraid of. Maybe these kings just use berries to plant themselves in gold."
Looking at a map, the Honorary Knight said, even if they dyed themselves with Milopasta lotuses, their strength would only increase by 50%. At the end of the day, a fish is still a fish. Indeed, to them, King might have been more like a title, something that looked impressive and intimidating to others. Their golden color did not necessarily mean that they were any stronger. The Spark Knight and Dodoco breathed sighs of relief. Now they wouldn't need to school these fish late into the night and make everyone worry by returning home so late. They reached the home stretch. It was time to make quick work of the puzzle. Emboldened by their kings, the soldiers mounted another defense amidst the stones and aquatic plants. They were undaunted. Dodoco, the Spark Knight, the Honorary Knight, and the Helper in White had to come up with a clever countermeasure. How should they deploy their limited number of special Jumpty Dumpties to defeat all their foes in just a few blasts? The Spark Knight glanced over to the Helper in White, who was just circling the Honorary Knight, and thought of something.
Wait a minute. If these spiky fish only know how to defend against special Dumpty Dumpties from the front, then all we need to do is go around them, right?
The spiky fish could only move in the water, but the Spark Knight and Dodoco could freely walk around in the pond's edge to where they were undefeated, and then launch their special Jumpty Dumpties from there. With smart, precise blasts, the spiky fish were completely blown out of the water and sent scattered away in defeat. During their retreat, they even retrieved their things, leaving not one bit of trash in Cider Lake. Dodoco, the special Jumpty Dumpty, the Spark Knight, the Honorary Knight, and the Helper in White had thus defended Cider Lake together. Life was going swimmingly for the fish of Mondstadt once more. To reward themselves for their hard work, Dodoco, the special Jumpty Dumpties, the Spark Knight, the Honorary Knight, and the Helper in White rolled out a tablecloth and heartily enjoyed a lakeside picnic. On the menu was mint jelly, caramel cookies, berry cake, and tomato chili, a sweet, spicy, and refreshing spread. The threat to Cider Lake was now quelled. Dodoco and the Spark Knight had saved the day. Who knows? Perhaps the fruit of this strange encounter, the creation of the special Jumpty Dumpties, might come in handy again someday. The end.